Hello, my name is Clipchamp and today I will be reviewing Food Inc., a powerful documentary directed by Robert Kenner with, with contributions from Eric Scholar and Michael Pollan. This film uncovers the hidden truth behind the food industry in America and what we, as consumers, need to know. Released in 2008, Food Inc. is the work of Robert Kenner with investigative insight from Eric Scholar, author of Fast Food Nation, and Michael Pollan, known for The Omnivore's Dilemma. This creator brings credibility, deep research, and compelling storytelling to expose the realities of modern food production. This film is a feature-length documentary that blends interview, narration, real footage, and infographics. Its approach mirrors investigative journalism, drawing the viewer in with mix of emotional depth and critical inquiry. To understand why Food Inc. matters, we have to consider what was happening when it was made. In the early 2000s, outbreak of E. coli were on the rise, obesity was reaching epidemic levels, and public trust in food safety was fading. Behind it all was an agricultural industry growing increasingly centralized, more profit driven, less accountable. Food Inc. answers a vital question. What has our pursuit of cheap fast food done to health of people, the planet and our democracy? The documentary doesn't just show problem, it exposes an entire system built on silence, secrecy and fear. The film explores four major themes. First, corporate powers. Companies like Monsanto and Tyson dominate the market, often at the expense of farmers and consumers. Second, food safety. Unsafe practices lead to serious health risks, including E. coli outbreaks. Third, economic exploitation. The people who produce our food often suffer the most. And finally, the illusion of choice. While packaging shows green pastures, the reality is grim and highly industrialized. The filmmakers aim to expose the true workings of industrial agriculture. They connect food production with public health crisis and advocate for more transparency. By sharing tragic personal stories and alarming facts, the film empowers us to demand change and make informed food choices. The tone of Food Inc. is direct, bold, and critical. It takes a clear stance against corporate secrecy and questions whether food efficiency should come at such a high human and environmental cost. The film lifts up voices of small farmers like Joel Salatin who raise food ethically and show that they are often dismissed or silenced by powerful companies. But it also acknowledges complexity. Regulatory agencies are supposed to protect us, but are often staffed by people with ties to the very corporations they are supposed to oversee. This tone, part hopeful, part outraged, keeps the viewer engaged, unsettled, and motivated. Food Inc. definitely has a bias, but it's a purposeful one. It's strongly against corporate secrecy and industrial farming and clearly supports small farmers, local food, and stronger food safety laws. The film wants us to question the system and see how profit often comes before people's health and rights. While it doesn't fully explore the challenges of accessing organic food, its message is clear. We deserve to know where our food comes from and we have the right to demand better. Food Inc. uses a strong mix of persuasive techniques. Ethos is built through expert interviews and real life victims like Barbara. Pathos comes from emotional stories that evoke empathy and anger. Logos is evident in statistics and cause effect arguments that logically explains how the system harms us all. The documentary brings personal stories to life. Barbara, who lost her son to E. coli, becomes a symbol of the consumer's fight for safety. Mopar, a seed cleaner, represents small farmers resisting Monsanto's legal power, and workers in slaughterhouses reveal the human cost of cheap food. This story personalizes the film's broader arguments. A key issue that film highlights is how aggressively the food industry opposes regulation and transparency, from suing the USDA to fighting food labeling's law. Corporations work hard to keep us in the dark about what we eat. Two moments stand out. Oprah Winfrey's lawsuit over criticizing beef, shows how companies use the law to silence critics, and the comparison between the cost of a cheeseburger and a head of broccoli highlights how unhealthy food is subsidized, while healthy food remains out of reach for many. The film skillfully blends emotion and grim humor. It creates discomfort to force reflection, especially through shocking visuals and the contrast between cheerful advertisement and the harsh food reality. Despite its somber tone, it ends with a hopeful call to action. Set design in Food INC is rooted in reality. From crowded chicken farms to sanitized factory floors, the visuals create a stark contrast with the bright, natural imagery of sustainable farms. This contrast drives home the film's message: not all food is what it seems. Music plays a subtle yet crucial role. Haunting soundscapes accompany factory scenes, while softer acoustic tones uplift scenes of ethical farming. This music shift guide our emotions and underscore the film's contrasting message of despair and hope. Food INC is both eye-opening and impactful. It effectively exposes how corporate control compromises food quality, safety, and ethics. Food INC is clearly intended for conscious consumers, people who want to know the truth about what they are eating and who's really in control of the food system. It targets families who care about food safety, students beginning to question the world around them, and everyday shoppers who assume that what's on the shelf is safe, ethical, and honest. I would absolutely recommend this documentary. It informs, provokes thought, and inspires action. Still, there's room for improvement. The film could do more to explore large scale solutions or acknowledge why many people depend on cheap food. And while it ends with a call to action, it could be clearer on what we can actually do. But overall, it's a must watch for anyone who wants to understand their role in their food system. Thank you for listening. I hope this presentation has deepened your understanding of food INC and the critical issues it raises about what we eat, who makes it, and why it matters.